HowLongToBeat.com says that Resident Evil 7 takes the median player about 10 hours to finish the
9.5, and it took me like 8 hours, right? Yeah, I think that checks out. If you've played the game a bunch, like 8 hours to comfortably get through it while yapping as well. 9.5, 10-ish for a first playthrough. That sounds about right, and that's a good length, right?
game. Me personally, I beat it in about 8, and my first playthrough was actually quite thorough. I wanted to collect all the powerful guns, I got a fair portion of the bobbleheads and antique coins, and I felt like I took my time without just dawdling around. But then I went back again, and again. I did challenge runs, I collected all the collectibles, played through all the difficulties.
I never did any of that. I think I only ever played it on standard difficulty. Well, I always try, like, when I see some, I'll collect them, but I won't go out of my way to like, try and find them. Like, in this last playthrough, I actually googled a few things, how to get, like, how to repair the shotgun and the pistol, you know, how to get those. The toy axe, you know, I googled things like that, but I didn't go out of my way to try and look for all the coins, for all the bobbleheads, whatever. I might sometime down the line, but I'm not yet.
Completed all the DLC and got all the achievements.
Okay, all the DLC I've also completed. I don't have nearly all the achievement. Wait. Yeah, I have 60% DLC. I have 60% finish. And I've played all the DLC. I've not finished all of them. I finished all the story DLC, but like the challenge things, like Jack's 55th birthday or whatever, like, you know, where you just kill enemies in waves or whatever, I don't care about those.
That took me about 85 hours, and I just absolutely love this game to pieces, man. Despite its linear, relatively short campaign, I've poured so much time into Resident Evil 7 that it is actually crazy. Now, let's bring our attention to the game
I love you, bro. Little Nightmares, Resident Evil 7, bro. Marry me.
Nightmares, for example. I have played through this game once, and it took me about 3 hours. And then I never played it again. It was fun, but it didn't strike me as something I wanted to experience again. Today, we're talking replayability. Most video games are...
Never mind, don't marry me. I love Little Nightmares so much. I've replayed it multiple times. I absolutely adore it so much. An unreplayable game for me. One that I don't see myself coming back to anytime soon. Don't want to say ever. Like, at some point I probably will. Not anytime soon, not while I still remember it well enough. Is, for example, Firewatch. Journey. Abzu. Monument Valley. Not Monument Valley. Manifold Garden, thank you. That one, for example. Those are, like, not necessarily completely unreplayable games, but unreplayable anytime soon. Because I still know them well enough, I still remember them well enough, I don't feel the need to replay them. Firewatch is an interesting game, but not so much a game, it's more of an interactive story, and that's perfectly fine as it is. Someone in my chat at some point said that they love to fire up Firewatch just to be in the environment and just to hang out there, so... Stanley Parable, by the way, as well. I don't see any reason to replay it anytime soon. I have to look up Manifold Garden. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous game. Very mindfucky. I saw on stream some people actually, well, not complain, but they mentioned how it actually messes with their mind. Like, me playing in it, shifting perspectives all the time, I knew what I was doing, but apparently on stream watching it, it was such a fucked up experience that actually made some brains hurt. Has some kind of difficult puzzles as well, I would say. I think you might be into it. Have you seen Antichamber? I have Antichamber. I have yet to play it. I want to play it. I've been wanting to play it for like the past fucking 10 years ever since it came out. I never got to. But by now, someone actually gifted me the game. I really want to play it, but I want to do it on stream. I don't think I've ever actually played a game that I don't want to replay at some point in the future. I think it's only one game that goes on that list. Well, so what is it? I don't think I've ever played one. I think there is only one game in consecutive sentences. It's probably Evil Within. It's so boring and never even finished it. I did finish it, but I find it so overrated.
Always pushing for replay value, with tons of extra content bundled in the game.
Yes, but Hollow Knight is, for example, also a game I don't see myself replaying anytime soon. There is a lot of content in the game, but you're not replaying the game, you're just looking for the rest of the content. It's not like a roguelike where you sink 1,000 hours into it, but you actually replay the game every time. Like, you progress, you unlock more, but effectively you start the game from the beginning every time. You replay it every time. With Hollow Knight, you just continue. Yes, you unlock more stuff, you sink more time into it, but Would you consider Final Fantasy VII, for example, or any Final Fantasy game, I don't know, replayable just because you sink a lot of time into it? You can grind a lot to finally beat like all the optional bosses. Dark Souls, like that's not replaying the game, that's just continuing to play the game.
Sometimes I'll decide I want to 100% a game, but then I'll actually start getting at that goal and realize that the optional stuff wasn't implemented so you could experience every exciting aspect of the game, but rather just to pad it out and justify pricing. It's like a hamburger, right? You know, most hamburgers have some sort of filler in them, whether it be breadcrumbs or an egg or something. There are some burgers that are just super lean and delicious and have next to
We're watching the same video, nice.
no filler in them at all. And then you also have ones that have a decent amount of filler in them and still taste great as well. But if you bite into a burger and just taste breadcrumbs with no meat, then you have an issue. Things get more confusing when all the different
There are vegan burgers, you imbecile.
replayability factors are in the mix, so let's just start by establishing the single player standard. Most games with a campaign go like this. You have a main path and some side content. This could be in the form of optional missions, collectibles, extra modes, and the list goes on. Too often, I'll forget the sheer amount of extra content that games pack in is usually straight up exhausting. I had to play through Dark Souls 3 thrice just to get all the achievements. Do you know how draining that is?
Gives me conniptions.
I used to be a completionist, and I still somewhat am. But yeah, things like that just took out all the fun of being a completionist. It just made it feel like a chore. Until I realized, you know what? I don't have to have all achievements in all games. Fuck this. Now I just play them to enjoy them.
You spent hours on this staircase just for that one fucking Covenant item? I have nothing but respect for you. Now, it's natural that the average player would look at that grind and go, fuck that, I'm not doing all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And that is very fair. But honestly, I really enjoyed 100%ing Dark Souls 3, because it quite simply allowed me to keep playing the game and experiencing new stuff even after I finished the story.
I feel that. With some games I really, really like, I will go out of my way to get 100%. But it's just not every single one anymore.
This is the video game equivalent of dumping breadcrumbs into your mouth after finishing your burger, which can taste good or bad depending on how full you are. Side content should always be a supplement to already great gameplay, rather than something to just prop up a hollow experience. But what if your whole game is a hollow experience?
Hollow
Well,
Knight?
we have a term for that, and that's called online multiplayer. Wow.
Guys, we're not very good at this game.
Obviously, in reality, online multiplayer games are not just hollow experiences. That's a joke, but they can teeter on being too static. They rely on the fact that people will be playing their game consistently. So as long as you have people to play with, you can play the game forever.
Even if you don't, if the game allows for bots, if the game, has like offline modes with bots, even then. I just agree that not every side mission has to be connected to the main story. Did he say that? What I got from it is that side content has to be meaningful and not just filler. Only game I 100% was Spider-Man PS4 simply because every side mission was fun. There are a bunch of games I've 100%ed. Not all of them I have 100% achievements in, but in the world, in the game, I did like 100% inside of the map, inside of the world, if it's an open world game. But then there are achievements like that are specific to the multiplayer, to defeat X enemies in this specific way, whatever. I hate those. I never do those. But there are plenty of games I did 100% in as far as I'm concerned.
So many games have arrived and then died a year or two after you can play the game forever. So many games
Oh, never mind. I thought never mind.
have arrived and then died a year or two after simply because of the fact that no one wants to keep on feeding into their lacking gameplay loops. So on one hand, you have these games like League of Legends, CSGO, and TF2 that have these massive communities that have been playing the game for hours each day for nearly decades. And you also have these absolutely bone-dry games where you'll be lucky to even get into a match without a friend to play with. Multiplayer games have the potential to be the most replayable games, and also the least replayable. When you get in a groove of learning and experimenting and creating new results, that is when multiplayer is at its peak, and it's on the developers to make sure that they provide for their die-hard fans. Both TF2s especially. I mean, it seems that they have just now started to realize that people actually like to play their games. So we got multiplayer servers back for Titanfall, and teased with a summer update from Team Fortress. only for it to just be some more hat crates.
I know, I got my shit, okay.
Not the fucking hats all the time. Wasn't the hat meme like really big like 10 years ago? You know, you get new hats because that's all you get in Team Fortress 2.
Yep. And then, oh fuck!
Games don't always have to be about the product itself, but the friends you play with.
A waiter. More toddlers, please.
Online PvP games are always more fun with friends, but that often comes with the burden of frustration and competition as well. Co-op is a good middle ground between the chaos of online bullshit and the immersive and focused nature of single player. I find games with co-op modes to often be the most replayable, because it means that they both have a near infinitely replayable way to experience it with friends, along with a...
Disagree. Portal 2 co-op, yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, but I don't see myself replaying it anytime soon because I've played it with Maddie, well, last year. And it is always pretty much the same experience. Yeah, it's fun to have GLaDOS banter, great banter between you two, but that's really it. Like, it is largely the same experience. It depends on the game.
Solid way to navigate it solo as well. Great co-op games have a simple yet exciting gameplay loop. Shoot enemies with your friends, explore with your friends, or just do whatever the fuck you want with your friends. When a co-op game knows when to sit back and just be a vessel for friendship rather than a constant blaring source of stimulus, then it's doing its job right. What was that?
I'm scared.
Oh, that's you chewing.
There
Wow.
are a few games I like 100%ing multiple times, even Arkham Knight, Spyro Trilogy, Donkey Kong 64, Ori and the Blind Forest. I have also 100%ed the entire Arkham Trilogy as well. Well, with Origins, the quadrilogy. Spyro Trilogy, I also have 100% in achievements on Steam. Ori, I've never
don't
played.
do that again. Goodness. When a game is an absolute classic, a remake or a remaster can create some differences in replay value. Firstly, for all the people who have already played the original, it's a gamble on whether the game is even worth playing because the differences might not be striking enough. What could also be the case is that the new version
Fucking bear traps, I can't escape them. They haunt me. They're freaking haunting me.
is too different from the original, and sacrifices some aspects that made it fun back then. Halo CE's remaster created way too much noise on screen, which was a big stretch from the simple yet creative visuals of its previous version. Halo 2 Anniversary Edition fixed the cluttered visuals, and had beautiful cutscenes to boot. Again though, the
Majora's Mask, my beloved. My least favorite one.
game is just not worth paying extra for if you already own the original. Remasters usually end up being the best way to play games, whether it be because you're on a new platform, or it's just a cleaned up and modernized version of a game you already love. But remakes are a whole different beast. Remasters can have drastic changes, but you're still playing the same game. If you're playing a remake, it can often be a completely different game, and translating a game into a new form, developers
Black Mesa, one of the best remakes ever. And it's fan-made, but it was endorsed by Valve. And it's actually being sold on Valve's platform for money. So it is being endorsed by them, okay? But it's a fan-made remake of the first Half-Life game. It is super faithful, but also adds tons of stuff, especially near the end. On that alien planet, you spend much more time on there. Fantastic remake.
really have to take intention into consideration. It's definitely okay to clean up some bloated parts, but there is such a thing as an overcorrection. Overall though, remakes and remasters too can either create a new way to replay a favorite game, elevating it to new heights, or they can just make you realize why you don't go back to play those games.
But you said remake. This is just the HD remaster of Silent Hill. No. Don't pull out fucking Comic Sans PS3 Silent Hill 2.
First place. Games don't always have to be replayed though. The enjoyment you receive from finishing the game can be enough, and if your memory of the game is sufficient, you don't have to go back to play it again or collect everything. A lot of games know that experiencing everything isn't the intended way to play. For the average player, massive games like Elden Ring and Red Dead Redemption 2 have just so much content that just going right to the end and stopping there will get most players a more satisfying experience. Although, with the story of these games, it is fun to go back and try and catch hints once it's over, because you'll be able to appreciate all these little tidbits of information that flew by your head when you didn't know where the narrative was headed.
Same with Resident Evil 7. there are plenty of hints in the very beginning as to where it's going, as to the end. But you don't notice any of them because you just play the game, you don't know any of it. But then you play the second time and you're like, fuck, this was here all along. RDR2 is all about the side stuff for you. Don't you dare mention Hunt Down the Freeman in the same context as Black Mesa. Get out of here.
Is usually the least replayable part of a game though, so skippable cutscenes is always a good option. The last thing you want a second playthrough to be is tedious. It should feel like diving headfirst back into a familiar world rather than just dealing with monotony. It's just a nice option for people who want more time with great games. For me personally though, one of my favorite kinds of game is the kind that cannot be replayed.
I've still yet to play Outer Wilds.
Well,
And that's also on my list on my list of games to play on stream. Super high priority, but so are all the other like 4 games I mentioned earlier. When do I play all these games, man?
of course you can technically replay this style of game. It's not like they lock you out of playing it, that would be stupid. Most unreplayable games, once you load them up after beating the game, there's not really anything new to discover, because beating it usually comes through knowledge. A half step towards this would be the Soul style of games, or roguelikes, where they have traditional gameplay, but so much of the experience is about learning that progress is knowledge, and vice versa. A game that completely cannot be replayed is one that relies entirely on knowledge to advance gameplay. The best 2 examples of this specific type of game, and probably 2 of my favorite games ever created, are Outer Wilds and Return of the Obra Dinn. Both of these games use
We've played Return of the Obra Dinn on stream. I couldn't figure out like any of the deserts wild. It's so hard. You have to pay attention to like every single little clue. It's crazy. And even then you have to guess sometimes.
to an incredible effect, driving player engagement through ambiguity and discovery. As you keep playing, you'll learn more about how these worlds work, what clicks and what doesn't, and it's a mentally rewarding experience to finish. Of course, once it's complete, you can never experience it again. There's a few silly achievements, but they're completely separate from the main game, and more of an afterthought. To me, this is the most special type of game. Even though they're heavily curated and thoroughly tested experiences, they all feel so unique to me. All of the discoveries I made were my own, even though the games guided me towards my conclusions. I would not be displeased if more games were like Return of the Obra Dinn and Outer Wilds, because there's always room for one more good game. Replay value
Return of the Obra Dinn, by the way, made by the same guy who made Papers, Please, I think.
can be convoluted, tedious, and inconsistent, but it also brings me back to enjoy my favorite games again. 80-hour games and 5-hour games have different levels of both content and cost, but they both have the potential to be equally fantastic games.
Speaking of cost, did you see Hollow Knight Silksong pre-ordered $20 on the Switch? Bro, you made probably the most anticipated indie game ever, one of the most anticipated games ever, period, and you're charging $20 for it. What a fucking Chad. He could have easily gotten away, or they, whatever, could have easily gotten away with charging like 30 or even 40. Bro charges 20. That's insane. Actual insanity. Love it.
One isn't necessarily worse than the other, as long as developers put in effort to make their games enjoyable, regardless of subsequent playthroughs, and take the time to make memorable pieces of art. I think that every single person has at least one game that they wish they could wipe their memory and play for the first time again.
For me, Resident Evil 7.
And considering that it's not exactly possible to do that, replay value is a glimpse into that world. It blends the familiar and the unknown into something that lets you experience a level of fresh content before you become too acquainted with the whole game. A lot of games benefit greatly from replayability, and a lot of other games know when to stop and leave you wanting more. But regardless, when those credits roll, a great game will have you thinking, I want to do that again.
And perfect timing, I'm done with my food. Great video, like it.